Hello, my fellow property managers. Mark Cunningham at Grace Management. You know, a lot of this information that we bring to you comes right out of the day-to-day operations of our property management, Grace Management. We deal with issues, and I think, gosh, I should talk to the PM community. And this is one of those things. How do we deliver bad news to our owner clients? We had to have a long conversation in our office about this with our entire team because sometimes we're not as good at it as we should be because it's not fun. Nobody likes delivering bad news. So let me offer you 6 suggestions, 6 best practices on delivering bad news to your owner clients. You think, well, Mark, like what kind of bad news do we deliver? Well, here's some examples. You've got a large property expenditure. Water heater went out, furnace went out, needs a new roof. That's bad news. Maybe the tenant didn't pay rent and they're not going to pay rent, and you've got to go through the eviction process. Nobody likes to hear that. Maybe there's a significant lease violation issue, and yes, they're selling drugs out of the back door, and you've got to talk to the owner about this. But either way, we need to deliver the bad news. Now, by nature, none of us like to deliver bad news. So here's a couple best practices. Number 1, pause and have some empathy. When the water heater goes out, when the furnace goes out, here's what you're dealing with. You're like, yeah, I've got 5 furnaces I'm replacing this week, and I just got to get it all done. That's what you think. However, for the property owner who just found out their furnace went out and it's going to cost them $12,000 for a furnace, they are thinking to themselves, I'm $12,000 poorer right now than I was before this email or before this phone call. Have some empathy. It may not be a big deal to you because you do it all day long, but it's a big deal to them. They're not used to having these big expenditures, these big pieces of bad news. So we do need to pause and approach it with that empathetic idea of, hey, I'm sorry to have to tell you this. Secondly, that leads into number 2, pick up the phone. Okay? Now, if you're under the age of 25, you're already sweating because you're like, Mark, I don't talk to people on the phone. I text. That's my form of communication. I understand that's your form of communication, but this isn't about you, my friends. It's about your owner clients. Most of them are over 25, and when bad news happens, they don't want to get an email. They don't want to get a text. They don't want you sliding into their DM. I don't even know if that makes sense. But what they want from you is a phone call. You can't bring empathy through an email. You can't. You bring empathy through a phone call. So when you call them up, you're going to have some empathy. Hey, John, how you doing? It's Mark. Hey, got some bad news. That's being empathetic, but it's also, number 3, being candid. Get to the point. Don't talk around it. Don't be like, well, I'll see if I can maybe negotiate the price down a little bit on that furnace for you. No, you won't. The price is the price. Quote them what it's going to be. Well, I'm hoping the tenant's going to be able to come in on Friday with the full payment. You know they can't come in on Friday with the full payment. Don't give them false hope. Be candid and professional, but not clinical. You've heard of the bad bedside manner of doctors, right? Doctors that are very good, they're very professional, but they have terrible bedside manner. They just come in, they tell the patient the prognosis. I'm sorry, you're going to be dead in 48 hours, but I will make you comfortable in the meantime. Have a good day. No, actually, they don't even say have a good day. They turn around and they walk out. That's terrible bedside manner. So you want to be very candid. You want to be straightforward. You want to be professional, but not clinical. Don't get to the point that you sound like a robot. Otherwise, you lose your ability to have empathy. And it's a fine line to walk, but the more you do it, the better you get at it, which, by the way, is why, number 2, you need to pick up the phone. Do these things in person. It's hard to do, but your owner will appreciate it. Number 4, explain what you're going to do about it. Don't just throw the problem out to them and be like, oh, so good luck. Hope that happens. Explain what you, as their expert, as the professional, are doing to solve the problem. So we do have a furnace set to be installed next Tuesday. They should have it done within the next day and a half. I got some pricing on it. This is the best pricing we're able to get. The new furnace should last 23 years, and I do need to get from you X number of dollars by Tuesday. Explain what you're doing. Tenant hasn't paid. We've had the notices served. We'll have those sent off to the attorney on Tuesday. We should have a court date set by June of 2028 with the court system the way it's working, and within the next 7 years, we'll be able to actually succeed in evicting this non-paying tenant. Tell them what the process is. Show them that you're in control of the situation. Now, before I tell you number 5, I want to thank the new sponsor that we have, Pure Property Management. And my friends, we all need an exit plan, right? We're talking about delivering bad news. Well, this is good news because your business is worth more than you probably think it is. And at some point in time, you're going to need to retire. You're going to have a life situation happen where you might need to step out of your business. And the good news for us as an industry is there are now buyers of PM businesses. Well, one of those active buyers is Pure. They've acquired over 70 companies in 50 different markets. They can tell you how much your company is worth. They can help you structure for a future sale. If you're planning on retiring and selling in 2 years, you need to reach out to them now and start that process. Don't wait until the end. So jump on their website, purepm.co, not com, purepm.co. Set up a consult with them. Tell them Marc sent you and start that process. They're a great option that this industry didn't used to have. There was no option to sell your PM company in the past. Well, now there is, and Pure can help you with that. Okay, number 5. Well, Marc, what if they get upset? Like, that's why I don't want to call them. That's why I'd rather do an email so they have time to think about it and then ask what questions they want. Oh, stop being such a wimp. They're going to probably get upset. Now, when they do, that's when you need to stay calm. That's when you need to be the professional. That's when you need to say, hey, I understand this is really bad news, and I know it doesn't make you feel any better, but furnaces do go out. This is going to happen eventually. We've been prepared. Hopefully you've been preparing them for this, right? This is why you have that savings reserve that we've told you to keep in place. Here's our plan in place. But you need to make sure that they understand you're acting on their behalf. So if they start like blaming you, you need to kind of pause that and say, I realize this is a difficult situation, but you need to understand that we're working with you and side by side with you in this thing. We're not the bad guy here. We didn't cause this. We're assisting you in this. And if they don't get that, like if they're still blaming you like this, they need to have a harder conversation. And if they think you're the bad guy, you may need to step out of that relationship with that owner client, because you want your owners to be shoulder to shoulder with you, and you need to be shoulder to shoulder with your owners when these difficult situations come up. And then finally, you are not the superhero, my friends. There's no easy button. There's no superheroes in the property management business. There's not. All you can do is all you can do. So don't try to save things that you can't save. You can't make tenants pay if they're not going to pay. You can't get better pricing on the furnace when the pricing is what it is. Don't think, well, there's got to be something else I can do here, and then you get all stressed out and worked up. Don't do that. Be a professional. Tell them what it is. Tell them how you're going to solve it. Bring some empathy to it, but be a professional. But realize that at the end of the day, you're not a superhero. You can't make those problems go away. You can manage those problems. That's why we're in property management. We're not in property make problems go away, although that's kind of what I talk. So never mind that. I probably shouldn't have said that, because we are in the business of making problems go away. But we're managing the problems to go away. I don't know. That made a lot more sense in my head than it did when I verbally said it. Hey, my friends, jump on our website, pmbuild.com. How can we help you? A lot of information you'll see on there. We've already sold out our February Visit Grace event, but by the time this comes out, we should almost be ready to open up for our May. Love to see you out there. We also put on there everywhere we're going to be. We're going to be in some exciting live places in 2024. Love to see you out there. But we can be a resource to you. Check out our podcast, the Property Management Business Podcast. Until next time, my friends, I wish you success.